Well, this is a pack horse, and he's packing our bed and our grub. And we're going down into a deep canyon. And there was a cabin in there. You just come and, oh my God, you just went down the slid a lot. And into the canyon. Then you crossed it. And then my great uncle was a free thinker. And he established the Bozeman Trail from Fort Fetterman clear up into Montana. But in the doing so, he built bear traps made out of great big logs, and in the center they were open, and then they went down to a V, and the bear would drop down in there to get the deer that my uncle had in the bottom. Then the bear couldn't get back out. So my uncle would walk in, he walked everywhere, he never rode. He'd walk back down in that canyon and shoot the bears that he had, hired by the government, because these bears were tearing up people's camps as they were on the Bozeman Trail. But this is the beginning of that Wild and Woolly Trail that goes down into Deer Basin, Upper Deer Basin. I used acrylic as a watercolor, method, and fat paint and all kinds of stuff. Well, I didn't know anything about abstract. That was not my thing. But there was a rim somewhere I saw. And it was kind of, this kind of thing. And I thought, up behind that looks like a horse's head. He turned it over or did something or other. Anyway, I went back home and did 2 or 3 of these until I got one, the design I liked. But I would put how did I do that? I used tempera and black paint. And then I washed the tempera off. Oh, the whole thing was black. And then I did the design tempera. I don't remember. I've gotten screwy. But anyway, I washed the tempera off, and there was my design. I felt so smart. It was so fascinating. I did several. I was not disciplined at all by anybody till I got into college, and then it was sort of disheartening what college did. I had to study a painting to figure out why this Dutchman painted that, why he used those colors. And I found that just boring as all get out, And then somebody, who was it? Even Van Gogh wasn't as fun as I thought he was going to be. I thought I was more fun. I really did. I had more fun than those guys ever thought of having. And I believe that if you don't let yourself fly a little, turn yourself loose, feel good inside, try anything goes. Have fun. Have fun with wild kitties and friendly kitties and dogs and horses and everybody. It's country that is between the Little Bighorn River and the Lodge Grass River. They both come out of the mountains about the same volume. And all this country, I don't know how many miles it is between those two rivers, But my dad owned it. Leased part of it and owned part of it. And ran cattle there till it was time to go to the mountains with them. And they calved out here, all sorts of things. But this was an old Indian road that everybody used. That was there before white men came with their wagons. The ruts were there of a road that went clear to the Bighorn River. This road did, if you knew where to follow it. I had a Bull Durham sack in my shirt pocket, and it cost too much to buy cigarettes for women, you know. So I'd get a Bull Durham sack and stick it in my pocket and the papers there, and wrap the reins around my horn and stick the loose end of the reins under my leg. And certain horses that knew when I was rolling my cigarettes, and Blue, the horse, knew, and he'd stop. And I'd pour tobacco in this paper, roll it up, lick it shut, twist one end, stick it in my mouth, light it, and then Blue would move on. I thought that was a cute old horse. He knew. I remember being really fast on that one because I knew the men were coming with my horse to help round up those cattle, and I could not go out and do that. So I really hurried into this one, and it's the weeds among my flowers. I always laugh over that because who can tell the weed from the flower? But the weeds were the men. Dang men, interrupting everything.